The episode I'm sharing today was pulled from a new Facebook Live series I am doing all about online business topics. Right now feels like the right time to share everything I know about this topic freely. So if you have even a passing interest in making money online or you know someone else who does, please like my new page at facebook.com/Jen Obermeyer and turn on notifications for live videos. I will not be selling a single thing through this side venture, just teaching for free and sharing resources, sharing tutorials, and basically pulling back the curtain and breaking things down step by step so that you can, number one, know what options you have and what they look like, and number two, avoid getting burned by someone trying to sell you information that is actually freely available. So the content today is not specific to professional organizers, but it may definitely relate to projects you're thinking of working on for your business while we are temporarily slowed down from in-home client work. Enjoy.
You're listening to the Pro Organizer Studio podcast with Jen Obermeyer. Thank you for joining in. Jen makes it her mission to broaden the horizons of savvy businesswomen in the organizing industry by instilling confidence and inspiring authenticity. She is a devoted business coach and founder of the Inspired Organizer program. You'll gain new insight into strategies designed specifically for professional organizers. And now, let's get started.
Hi everyone, it's Jen Obermeyer, and it is Saturday, March 21st at about 5 p.m. Eastern. This chat topic today was requested by Veronica. I am excited to see you already taking action on the things that I have been talking about this week. So if you are just joining the party, we are talking about all kinds of basic online business topics, tips and tricks. And there she is. Hey, Veronica. Tips and tricks and things to help you get moving and not get hung up on the massive amount of information over there that is likely designed to confuse you and eventually take your money. I'm literally just teaching this stuff for free. So today we were talking about how to set up your first email list and how to build it from there and why you even need to do that. I would love to know what questions you guys have. Do you already have an email list that is started for a current business? If this online business represents sort of a pivot in what you're doing currently, let me know what experience you do have with email lists and why you need one. Because maybe you find yourself in a situation where you have an email list, but they're not really the people that you want necessarily to drive towards this new coaching business course or what have you. Veronica says she doesn't have one yet. Perfect. So we're going to be starting from square one, which really is ideal because it's not as complicated or as time consuming actually to set up some of these things as some of the other things we've been talking about. So ideally, if you could just set this up and let it be running and sort of automated in the background, it doesn't become your passive income, but it can become like your passive mechanism for having people sign up to hear more from you. And then that way down the road, you do have the opportunity to serve them in some other way. I was saying yesterday that you don't have to know exactly where you're going when you start creating your content in order to, hey Rob, I'm so glad that you're there. And 3 days in a row is like really good. I have like my own little mastermind group, which I'm pretty excited about right now. What I was saying yesterday was you don't have to know exactly what you're going to end up offering to the audience that you're building. It is sort of like a, if you build it, they will come situation. Hopefully what you want though is to build the right email list of people and not the wrong email list of people, meaning are you building an audience of people that are interested in what you really want to be sharing and teaching and making content around? Because obviously if your lead magnet, we're going to talk about what that means because it's kind of like an online business buzzword. If that is not in alignment with what ultimately you want to be doing coaching about, and let me give an example. Veronica is transitioning a virtual assistant business into a true like business consulting business where she's able to help businesses with their systems, organization, and that kind of thing. So if Veronica starts talking all the time, and let's just say that, pretend like I know what her long-term goal is. I don't. But if Veronica starts talking all the time about virtual assistant topics where it's like, here's how you set up social media posts, and here's how you DIY your Instagram planning and content and feed instead of hiring out a social media manager. If she starts talking about that a lot, and the people who sign up to her email list are really looking for like, Instagram marketing tips, then eventually when she is wanting to offer a service that's really about business consulting, efficiency, any kind of like system stuff behind the scenes, when she offers that to her email list, it's less likely that people will just jump and say, oh, heck yes, this is what I've been waiting for her to make for me. So what you want is to be talking about the topics that eventually you want to be hired either one-on-one to consult and coach on, or that you want to create a course around and become known in that area. Like, this is what I do. This is what I'm really great at. This is my thought leadership around these topics. So think about that. Think about that as you are working through the video yesterday. We talked about kind of that content snowball. You build off of the questions from your audience, but again, you do want to plant the seed that you actually want to grow, if that makes sense. So Rob said he's looking to understand email lists, why they're powerful, how to use them. Okay, so Rob, I want to tell you something. This is, again, I'm always like giving you guys just my example, as not because my personal story is all that outstanding or amazing. It's what I obviously have a lot of experience with. The thing about my business is that even though I have been, I've been primarily selling one thing. The primary moneymaker for the business and how I pay all the business expenses and my employee and myself is through one product, and that is an online course program. So the thing though is that Rob and I were in our coaching certification grad school adventure last year together. And the thing that is pretty cool about the fact that I have this huge is so relative, by the way. I have a large enough email list of people that some of them, yes, are going to be eventually interested in buying my course and my program, and that's great. Some of them may never will, and that's fine. But for whatever reason, I've always hovered between like 4,000 and 5,000 people on my email list. And so if I wanted to get more into working one-on-one coaching, which would kind of be in alignment with what Rob and I were trained to do last year, all I would have to do is email that out to my list, not just once, but kind of make that like an evergreen sort of promotion, like, hey, I have this many coaching spots available for this quarter, and here's how you can sign up, and here's how we can start working together. If I wanted to do more of that, I have that as an option. I want to share a quote that really stuck with me at some point in my, I've learned from a lot of people. I've bought their courses, and a lot of people I haven't. I'm just on their email list because they share really good content. And there's a guy named Mike Dillard, and he's he's good. I like his style. There's a lot of sort of like gold chains, like bro marketers out there that teach internet marketing, and some of them, for better or for worse, sort of have that like fast, easy money overnight sort of vibe. And so you kind of have to cut through like the good and the bad. Mike, I think, is one of the good ones. Even though I think, he definitely appeals to the men out there. I don't know why that is, just a side comment. But anyway, Mike, I've never bought one of his programs, but he said once in an email, and he was probably selling a course about email marketing. He said, if you can build an email list of 100,000 people, your financial worries have disappeared for the rest of your life. And I want to say that the reason why he said that is because now you have, like, these are your people, one, who know you, two, are interested in what you teach. Three, even though, like I said, I've primarily always sold one thing, if I had pivoted multiple times in my business, or if I had offered a lot of different types of products or launched certain I don't know, group coaching. I have done 2 in-person retreats in my business, and was able to sell those through just email. You have a lot of opportunities to offer different types of experiences for those people, and so therefore, it's not just as easy as like sending out an email and then money hits your bank account. But it couldn't be a lot simpler than that. If you have something that is really good and it's what people are asking for. And like I said, my email list has only ever been around 4,000 or 5,000 people. It kind of hovers in that area because we regularly remove people who don't open emails because we want like a highly engaged email list. But people who have email lists of 100,000 people, I mean, they're good to go for the rest of their life. But like I said, I have had a full-time business just in a very small niche because of that. So the idea with this is this is actually probably an unpopular opinion. I actually don't think it's the end of the world if you don't build an email list. And there's a couple of reasons why. One is because you actually do have the opportunity to reach back out to your audience that has watched you on YouTube and watched you on Facebook through Facebook and YouTube's tools themselves. They basically build like audiences behind the scenes of people who have actually engaged with your content. And so if you chose to, you could run Facebook ads or run YouTube ads back to those people if you didn't somehow have them like captured in some other way, meaning like you don't have them on an email list to email them directly. Does that cost money? Sure, yes, but it's not like the end of the world if you didn't start from exactly day one on building your email list. But since I'm talking to you two, at least I know I'm talking to Veronica and Rob. Can't see who else is here, but and if you guys are starting from the beginning with this, it's definitely a good. I mean, does not hurt, and it's definitely a good thing to set this up. So let's talk about how easy it can be to set this up and what exactly I meant when I was talking about a lead magnet. And definitely continue to let me know what your questions are, guys. So a lead magnet is something that you guys have probably seen a million times, like things that people are offering that are free, but you just have to enter in your email to get it. So it could be like a downloadable free ebook, a template, a checklist, a video series, like anything where you have to opt in to receive it. And then now you're on the person's email list, again, for better or for worse. Like you might want to manage this as you see fit, because you've probably seen and experienced this a lot as a consumer. So once you become the person who is creating the content and keeping in touch with people that way, it is sometimes it's hard because you're thinking, I don't want to annoy people. I don't want to email them all the time. I don't want to bug them. But here's the thing though, is that for people who have signed up for your stuff, they have the right and the responsibility, and they will unsubscribe if they don't want to get your emails anymore. So don't email them every day, 3 times a day, but having like a weekly newsletter or a monthly newsletter, I actually think a little more than weekly is good. I think just monthly is probably a little bit too infrequent, just so that you like stay top of mind and they're not like, who is this Rob guy again? I mean, you can have some type of like regular check-in, even if all you do is send out like a, hey, here's what you missed this week, and you just link them back to your Facebook page content that you've been doing, your new YouTube videos, and every email does not have to be full of new things. You can just remind them like, hey, here's some of our most popular content and here's what's new. If you've been enjoying this, I've also been posting blog posts and blah, blah, blah. Whatever you can do to just sort of like keep them engaged and keep them coming back, because you have already identified them, or they have actually already identified themselves to you as, not only am I interested in your topic, but I cared enough about it to give you my email address, and likely you have the opportunity to serve them to find out more about what they want. So I want to tell you how I approached this when I started my online business, Pro Organizer Studio. So in a nutshell, I had been running my own organizing business and decided that I had opinions that were very strong and that I was going to put them into an online format. So as we talked about yesterday, I kind of started my my content snowball by talking and doing live videos just like this one inside a Facebook group, uploaded the content to YouTube, and then I mentioned, I didn't go into detail about this yesterday, but I said that kind of became like its own snowball because people were searching for the topics on YouTube, back to the Facebook group to engage and be there for live videos and to ask me questions and talk to me. And I actually answered. Surprise, surprise. Not everybody does that, but when you actually answer, it blows people away. And then I was saying that's how I built my audience. So to add in another step to that, I had a very, very basic website at that time, but you don't even have to have a website built out for this to work. And I'll get back to that in a second. But I just kind of want to tell you, here was the scenario. My initial lead magnet for what I had people sign up for an email list with me to get was a 7-day free email series. It was like an autoresponder series. So once they signed up for it, it was like a 7-day, I called it like a free course. It was about starting your own organizing business. And I kind of like put out like my, just my basic things that I was already talking about in pretty much every video. I kind of put that into like a structured 7-day format. Excuse me. And then on the 7th day, it was saying, I am creating an online program about this, like going way more in depth. If you're interested, please sign up for the waiting list here. So if you already again, if you don't know what your thing is that you're selling, you could say your call to action after that 7th day, it could be something like, is there something that I can help you with, or is there a way that you would like to work together? Just hit reply and contact me. In fact, in my 7-day email course, on the very first day, I asked people, because that's like when you get somebody who opens the email immediately, because that's day one, they just signed up, they haven't forgotten who you are yet. And I would say, hey, hit reply and tell me, like, what is your why? Why are you looking at this topic right now? Like, where are you in life, and like, why is this a big deal to you? And people, I eventually, like after several months, I removed that from the email itself. I kind of mentioned the automation thing, and I'll come back and explain that. It was all automated based on when they signed up for it. So no matter what day you signed up for it, you get day one on your day one, and then everything would come after that. So on day one, people would be like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I found this, I like your videos, like this is really cool. And they would reply to the email because I asked them to. And I replied to every single person. And that helped me build relationships that to this day, I remember things people told me. I remember people, saying like, this is my time to do this. I've been looking for somebody who would break down the information just in a simpler way, like getting started. That was kind of my thing is, the information out there is overcomplicated and it's way too overwhelming. I want to make it simple and break it down and like help you get going and making money now. So that was kind of my like whole premise. And so they're excited to find me. We engaged like personally on email. I built the relationships that way. And I also actually kept a running spreadsheet of actual sentences pulled out of what people wrote back to me, because I was looking for the commonalities in what people were saying. For example, what kind of careers were they currently in that they were unhappy with? How long had they been thinking, or how long had they even known that professional organizing was an actual business? Because it is sort of an unknown kind of niche thing. How did they find out about it in the first place? What were the other things? I probably still have these spreadsheets somewhere. But that was very valuable to me, just in terms of like, not only market research, not only getting to know people one-on-one, which I definitely did. I would make sure that they were never the last one to reply to the email chain. I always replied, always. I would ask more questions. It was basically like, I would keep talking to them until they stopped talking back to me. Now, like I said, after this grew to a certain point, I took that, hey, hit reply and talk to me out of that initial email, so that I didn't have hundreds of emails in my box. But that was really special at the beginning. So not only are you getting to know them, but you're also doing market research about what are their problems, what are their pain points, what do they want to know more about. This is another place that you're going to get content for your videos that you're continuing to put out on Facebook, per what we talked about yesterday, the content snowball. Okay, so the free 7-day email course was that idea really, this is a really ninja tip. So this is really good. I came across a free 7-day email course template on Pinterest that a blogger who specialized in who knows what, building email lists probably, or marketing online. And her lead magnet was this is very meta. Her lead magnet for her email list was, when you sign up, you get this free 7-day email template, and you can customize it and use it as your own lead magnet. Does that make sense? So that's how I found, shout out to Summer. I know who she is. She doesn't know who I am, but anyway, I literally took that template and I customized it with everything that I wanted to say. And then I put those 7 automated emails. So I'm coming back to the automation part. Put those 7 automated emails in a sequence. And the initial email list provider that I used was called ConvertKit. It does cost money off the bat. It is one of the ones that costs money off the bat. MailChimp is one that is free off the bat up until you get to like 1,000 subscribers. However, at this exact point in time in March 21st, 2020, I did see an email recently that said ConvertKit is doing a free 30-day trial for people who are like you guys. They're trying to get their ish together and launch an online business, or finally start their email list because they have seen the necessity of doing that. So ConvertKit is definitely great. MailChimp is another free one that is going to help keep your expenses down while you're launching all this stuff. By the way, pretty much everything that I've talked about so far is very low cost. The Kajabi course platform is a bigger investment, but we haven't even really gotten into that yet, where we're just talking about creating the content, having your social media channels, having an easy place for people to opt in. And the good thing about ConvertKit, and I don't know, somebody might have to jump in at some point and correct me if I'm wrong. However, with ConvertKit, they have a feature where you can create like a landing page, and a landing page is just like a super simple, it's not even a full website. It's just literally a page. And on that page, you can have your like opt-in for your lead magnet. So you can say, I'm just making this up, Rob Stogsdill, expert in blah, blah, blah. So glad you're here. Enter your email to download my free ebook about leadership and humor. I'm sure it'll be better than that, but it'll be really good. And so inside your email list provider itself, like ConvertKit has that feature in it. To have somewhere where people are opting in, because we're not even talking about you guys creating a website right now. We're talking about having the content and then having somewhere where people are on your email list. That is a basic way to just build the online business like step by step without way over investing and spending too much money on stuff you don't need right now, because you're just, like we said, you're not at that level. Once you have 1,000 subscribers in MailChimp or whatever, it's worth it to pay the $10 or $20 a month to have your email list. Just in case you guys are wondering, I used a ConvertKit for a long time. I mentioned that I am a Kajabi user for my courses, and Kajabi also has it is an all-in-one solution in terms of you can have your email list in there, you have your website in there, you have your course content in there, you can have landing pages where people sign up for stuff, you can have webinar pages. The thing about Kajabi, and we'll talk about this on another day, is that not all of the aspects of their all-in-one solution are ideal for everybody. So I actually use a separate email list provider now because it offers more functionality that I really need, and that one is ActiveCampaign. So that's the one that I use today. So like I said, though, when you're just starting out, you just start with what you have and then build from there. Plenty of other options out there. If you already have a website for another business and you have something integrated, like Squarespace, I believe, has their own email list forms now that you can integrate for free with MailChimp. So you could create a separate like back-end page on an existing website and have your list opt in there. So you don't even have to pay something extra if you're already using some other tool like that. So the ninja tip, I promise I would say this. The ninja tip is, I found like I didn't overthink what my lead magnet thing was going to be. And if you already have a lot of content, maybe you haven't gotten it out yet, like verbally or on video, but you have already been, you already have a lot of expertise in a field, or you already have a lot of thoughts on helping form the direction or thoughts on the future of a particular industry. That might be something that makes a great lead magnet, because people don't want information that feels old. They kind of want like, hey, here's the future of leadership development in 2020 in the midst of the changing paradigm about remote work in companies with remote teams. Like that just seems like a topic that's a hot topic. Like that seems like something where people would say, yeah, like, would I buy the book? I don't know, but would I put in my email list for free? Sure. Why not? Like, I like this guy. So that's the kind of thing that you want to look for, or that's the kind of thing you want to think about. But you can look for, and you can literally Google a lead magnet template or an ebook, a free ebook template, something where the work of figuring out what to make and how to lay it out has already been done for you. Kind of like I said, I found this free email course template on Pinterest, and I thought, hey, that looks good. And I like her style. I like the way that she created it. And I went and personalized it for what I wanted to say. But like the email titles, like that you actually see when you get an email from someone, like the title is part of what makes people open it, because it needs to be sort of interesting and click worthy. And I liked her email titles, and I just ran with it. So don't be afraid to Google what your free resources are, because there are so many people at this point who have put together free resources that if you're out there thinking you have to pay for an ebook template or some other sort of fancy lead magnet template, that is just not so. So even if you're putting like your top 10 tips for this or that, whatever it is, like let's go back to Veronica. So like Veronica, if you wanted to start really talking about, business systems and efficiency or organization, or if there's even a special industry that you want to kind of talk about those topics for, then that should be sort of your lead magnet. Is not a full book explaining everything that you think about it or know about it, but like top 10 tips, like for getting started. Like what is their very next step that they have to do? You don't have to give them for free every possible thing that they ever need to know, because again, you want to keep driving them back to your content that you're continuing to put out, so that they'll ask those questions and keep getting that engagement with you. But the whole idea is just that it's the lead magnet is just interesting enough that they give you they give you their email address. And then if they have questions as they're going through it, you can have a follow-up email that says, hey, what did you think? Like, what are the big question marks that are still out there for you? And then ask them. And if they're just like, you know what, I really love your content, but I hated this ebook that you wrote, then guess what? You can just update it or put in more information or clarify. Like, we always have the opportunity, like everything that you're putting out there is always a draft. Always. So you always have the opportunity to edit it, improve it, continuously improve everything that you do in your business. But that's why it's so important to just start, because you don't start getting that feedback until you're putting it out there. So let me talk a little bit more about the automation thing. So when I said that setting up an email list was something you could sort of spend some time doing now, and then it could just sort of run in the background. What I mean is that you'll still always have to drive people to that page of where they opt in for your lead magnet or whatever it is that you have. Maybe even you create some videos that are just for people who subscribed. Like maybe you have some super special things that you want to share or do a training on, and you don't mind it being free, but you want to use that to attract people deeper and to raise their hands and say, yes, I'm that person. I'm your ideal target client or target audience member. That's a really good idea too. I've never done the free training. I've never done the free video series, but I think those are really smart. So once you spend some time, then what you have the ability to do with things like ConvertKit and MailChimp is it's not just about you getting in there and then sending out email blasts every single week. No, no, no. You don't have to do that. So especially with like your lead magnet that they opt in for, you're going to set it up, because I know you guys are smart and you're going to go and do the research on this, because every email provider has their own training on it. And so there's no way that I'm going to attempt to do that, because there's so many email providers and they've already done that hard work for me. So I'm just sending you on your way. They will instruct you, like, here's how to attach, like let's say you have an ebook and it's a PDF and you need to send it to your subscribers. They will explain how to set that up so that every time somebody does that, it's automated. So they get the content that they opted in for, no matter what you are out there doing in your life. And you don't necessarily have to start, like I said, come up with like a weekly email where you just say, hey, here's the content you missed this week. You don't have to start becoming a writer or becoming a pen pal with every single person. However, just keeping in touch and keeping top of mind, so that one day when you are sending out an email that's more of like a sales email, or at least an interest, you want to, like, maybe at some point you're gauging interest because you have enough people who've been following you and talking to you and working with you in this sort of content snowball, that you finally know, like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm doing a group coaching program. It's going to be 12 weeks long. It's going to be this cost. I'm going to send out an email to my list of, like, let's say at this point you have 1,000 people, because that would be great and so attainable, not unattainable. That would be very attainable for pretty much any topic out there. You send an email out to your email list, and you don't want that to go to like a list of people who have totally forgotten about you because it was 6 months ago and they opted in for like your ebook. That's why you want to continue just staying top of mind, sending them out like, here's the weekly, like, what you missed. Here's my thoughts on this or that's happening. Don't overcomplicate that, but just plan to continue to stay in touch with them. And don't worry about annoying them, because again, they're grown adults, and if they want to, they'll unsubscribe. And if they want to file your emails away, they don't want to unsubscribe it. They just want to file them away until a later date. They don't necessarily open them, but they didn't unsubscribe. That still means they're interested. So you still keep emailing them. Even though I did say we take email subscribers off our list if they have not opened an email in 3 months or more. So I'm talking like they have really not opened an email in 3 months or more. And yes, your email providers do have the ability to measure that and track that, which is great. It's great for us. So the automation. So if you do something like like the 7-day series, like I was talking about, what would happen is your, like, for example, I had this set up in ConvertKit when I first started. You set up an email sequence, and it's literally, you put day 1, day 2, and so on, however long it is. It can be 30 days if you want it to be, where people are really getting something from you every day for 30 days. And then after that, it's like, hey, how can we continue working together? Like, let's open up the conversation. So every day at like 11 a.m., and this is very much up to you. I think this is what I chose to do. I set each individual email to go out. You say 1 day after the previous email. It's like setting up a recurring event in your Google Calendar or any other calendar you use. Like, it's not any more complicated than that, but you set it up so that each email goes out 24 hours after the last one, and each one went out at about 11 a.m. every day. And mine was 7 days long. And at the end, I was driving them towards interest list for the course. And then once I had the course open, it drove them towards the website for the sales page for the course. So in a nutshell, that's how an email list makes you money. Because as you can imagine, more people, the people who do open all your emails and stay engaged with you are going to, oh my, there's more comments that I wasn't seeing. I'm so sorry. I'm going to catch up on them. There's more, the people who are opening your emails, like, let's say you were selling a course program or a coaching offer. More people who engage with your emails and open them on a regular basis and do open that email when you finally are selling something, they're more likely to really, first of all, see it. And second of all, to be interested and be thinking, yeah, I was waiting for something like this. Like, thank you for finally sending this email. They're going to be more likely to do that versus when you think, oh, I'm going to sell something now, so I'll just post it on my Facebook page. or make a video about it. Well, those are not bad things to do either. It's just that if you don't have the direct access to them in their email box, there's a likelihood that they might not ever see that content on Facebook, even if they have been, showing up every once in a while for your Facebook Live videos or even engaging and commenting on your page. Like, they're just not necessarily going to see those unless you are spending money on Facebook ads. And I'm not hating Facebook ads. I love Facebook ads. However, if you have to spend money to reach your list versus just emailing them and continuing that relationship that you've been nurturing, then it is going to, it'll be an investment to do that. So that's why from day one, this is a great thing to do, and it's lovely. I really, really mean it. Like, you might feel so silly because like your mom is a subscriber and then you have like 2 people and you're just like, what am I doing? I don't know why I thought I could have an online business. Here's the thing though, is when you just have those 3 people, or even subtract out your mom because you already know her, when you just have those 2 people, you have the opportunity to know everything about those 2 people. Hey, it's Jen. Like, people are like shocked when you like reach out to them. I don't know, maybe there's something about being on video that automatically makes you seem like an authority or seem like this unreachable person, and that really isn't true. But they'll think that. And so when you write to them or when you actually respond to their emails, they're going to be like, oh my God, I feel like I'm famous, or I feel like I'm talking to a famous person. And you're laughing because you're just like, hey, I just wanted to get to know like person number 7 on my email list. But don't feel silly, because if you have already shown that you have put out content that people are interested in and you have a lead magnet that people actually opted in for, maybe your percentage of, maybe your numbers of people who have been visiting you is not that high, or your percentage of people who have opted in is not that great. But now you're kind of, like we said, putting data out there, or putting things out there, getting data about what's working and what's not. And now you know what you can improve. So that's the really cool part about this, is you have that opportunity when your list is really tiny and you're like ashamed because you don't even want to tell anybody what you're doing. You have that opportunity to get to know every single one of them. And those relationships will take you a long way, because you'll learn enough about those 10 people that will inform you as to what the next 100 or 1,000 people are going to probably also be thinking, be going through, be looking for. And nothing could be more valuable than really getting inside of your target market and getting inside the minds of your target market and understanding what is driving them right now. Because it does not make a whole lot of sense to work on a paid product that is literally just a stab in the dark of what they're willing to pay for or what they're willing to commit to. So talk to them, All right. I'm going to read comments now. Dana said she's listening away. Thank you for your time and talents. Dana, that means the world to me that you showed up. Paula said she has been using MailChimp. And do you like it? How's it going? All right. Veronica said, advertising email subscription best on Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube. Veronica, give me more information about exactly what you're asking for that question, because I'm sure I have an answer. I just am not clear on what the question is. Rob. Okay, Rob has a good question. He said, why would I cull my herd? Yes. He said, does it cost more for more subscribers? No. Well, okay, sorry. That's a lie. Yes. But that's not why I do it. Every email list provider has slightly different levels of what they're paid, like their paid subscriptions are. So it does not cost you the same amount. For example, I'm on an active campaign now. I think that like your first 500, up to your first 500 people, then your first 2,500 people, and then like the next level is like 5,000 people. So yes, it does increase the more people you have on your list. It is more expensive the more people you have on your list, but that's not my problem. My problem is when people do not open your emails consistently, it affects your email deliverability, meaning that, like in Gmail, you guys probably are all somewhat familiar with Gmail, but you guys know how they have different tabs for like primary versus promotions versus things that they mark as spam automatically. What you want, ideally, you want to be in that promotions tab because you're on, it's not a personal email. Like they're on an email list. You want to be in the promotions tab. You don't want to be in the spam tab. When not a lot of people actually open your emails, that information gets fed back to your email provider, and they sort of like rate you. Like they don't tell you what they're rating you, but they have kind of an internal ranking system for how trustworthy you are, that you're not a spammer, that you're not sending them to like, awful pop-up virus sites or whatever. So when people do not open your emails consistently, it hurts your deliverability rate and makes it more likely that your email goes to spam and that they never see it in the first place. So that's why you wouldn't, for example, want, I mentioned at the beginning, when you have an email list that is off topic, and you're sending emails that are on a new topic and people aren't opening them and they're just deleting them, and they're not even taking the time to unsubscribe because they're not even opening them. You guys know you can unsubscribe from an email list, but you have to actually open it to do that. So that is the scenario that you avoid when you every once in a while kind of do a list cleanup. And ActiveCampaign makes that very easy. And I know that ConvertKit definitely gives you statistics on your subscribers, like how many are opening in general, how many are opening emails, and then they'll mark a particular subscriber as cold when they haven't engaged, and engaged means in opening an email at all. They don't have to click through an email to be engaged, but they do have to open an email to be engaged. They'll mark a subscriber as cold, and if you have a really high percentage of your list that is cold, you can go into ConvertKit and just say, okay, let's just remove all those people, so that your list is considered warm and engaged and it's all good. Okay. I don't know anything about, I am 100% positive that MailChimp does all that. I just don't have as much, I don't have any experience with them beyond like that basic level when you only have like 10 or 20 people. Rob's mom is all that matters. And I know that she would sign up for your email list, and she'd probably sign up for mine and Suzanne's and Pavla's. So send her on over. Okay. Pavla said once she learned to use MailChimp, she loves sending campaigns through that. Plus, it corresponds well with her Squarespace website. So a campaign, an email campaign, is generally a name for like a one-time email, whereas like a sequence or autoresponder is what I was talking about with how you have people opt in and then they're automatically delivered something. They're either delivered a link for your file that they download, or they're delivered your automatic email series, that kind of thing. Oh, I didn't even say. So these days I am back to having, I have like a free PDF roadmap type of thing. It's just an email. It's an instant delivery. You click on the email and you get the PDF, and then you can just read it online or you can download it. So if you guys want to test mine, you're welcome to, just to see what I'm talking about. So you go to proorganizerstudio.com, and when you scroll all the way down, it says, get the roadmap. And it says like, hey, this is free. Like, get our free roadmap for how to launch and grow your business. And so you click on a button, and now this is kind of fancy. You don't have to get fancy at all. But you click on a button and a pop-up comes up and it says, hey, where should we send this? And you just put in your email address, and then it redirects you to a new page where you can click a button and download it. And at the same time, an email is sent back to you to confirm your subscription, and for you to download the PDF there as well, in case you just X'd out of your browser or didn't click the button on that redirect link, if that makes sense. Okay, Veronica said, oh, okay, I think I understand your question now. She said, I think I know the answer. I'm just trying to make sure I'm advertising my email list in the proper places, but I think that's just for me to figure out where my target market is. Scratch that question. No, I don't want to scratch that question. That was a really good question. I think I just didn't understand it. So yeah, when you say advertise, I think you just meant promote. Like, promote your lead magnet. Like, hey, here's my free 7-day course on this, or here's my free video series on that, or here's my free ebook. You can put that everywhere. And you want to make sure that you're putting that, when we were talking about that content snowball yesterday, put it as talk about it in your videos, even at the beginning. Don't wait till the end, because most people don't watch till the end of your videos. And I know this because I talk a long time and most people don't hang in with me. So if you're going to say something really important, like, hey, I have a free ebook that sums up my top 10 tips about whatever, and you can get it by visiting blah, blah, blah.com, or just click the link in my profile or whatever, say that at the beginning. So say it in your videos, put it in the captions of anything you do, like your captions of your Facebook videos, your captions of your YouTube videos. Definitely on Pinterest, like, that's a really good tip, especially if you have something that is reaching women at all. I mean, a lot of women business owners have get resources from Pinterest. So that's really, really good. And even if you have, like, y'all are going to find out in about 5 minutes that I don't really ever want to talk about Instagram as part of an online business, because it's one of my things that I don't enjoy doing that a lot of other people really, really like to do. If you like Instagram and if that is a part of your strategy, especially if you're like in kind of that coach field, you're in the home decor, maybe starting a home decor blog. Every single thing I've talked about, by the way, with email lists also applies to the people out there who are not trying to start a coaching business, not trying to have a course, but they want to have a blog that has an email list so that you can continue to nurture and potentially sell things in the future. Definitely applies to those things too. So maybe for an Instagram, for example, you'd have organizing content, like home organizing content or home decor content. It's not about you coaching them, but you're just putting it out there. In your bio in Instagram, you can link to your lead magnet and say, don't miss this. Hey, I got this free thing. And, see what other people are doing too. It doesn't hurt to like do some quick research and say, what are the free, just type into Google or type into Pinterest, like free ebook about blank, like whatever your topic is, and see what people are giving away for free. And if you can just improve on their content. I mean, I'm not saying steal their content at all. I'm just saying if you can do what they're doing, but do it even better and make it even more valuable, I think people would say, wow. And people said this to me. If you give this much away for free, imagine how good your paid product is. And a lot of people, who didn't know me from a hole in the wall, because I was still building up my reputation in the beginning, that was one of the things I consistently heard was I knew that I wanted to invest and become a student in your course and enroll in your program because you give so much away for free, and I love the way that you teach. So that's a way that you build your credibility at the beginning too, is just by giving more than what other people give. And that's kind of another ninja tip. Okay. And another thing I'll just kind of mention as a side note, like this is definitely another topic, but our podcast in itself is sort of a lead magnet. And the way that the strategy for that is we put out free content. We've been doing it since last May. It's almost a year old. It's another little, baby project of mine. It's free content that is shared throughout the organizing industry. It's on all kinds of topics. It's on really the business side of professional organizers, but you don't have to sign up for anything in order to get that content, because it is wherever you get like an Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts. We put all that content for free out on our blog. But in every episode, we sort of have like a light call to action. Like I don't sell my program through that at all. In fact, we mention it in passing, but I never am like, oh, by the way, you should enroll in my course. I know that when people are ready, they will enroll. I'm not stressed about that. But we promote our free lead magnet in every single podcast. I had a professional voiceover actress record an intro and an outro for the podcast. So it's very like, it's so cute because it's so much better than like me recording my own, obviously. But we sent her the script, and she at the beginning of every episode, I do an intro about what the episode is going to be about. Then we insert the clip that she recorded for me about, hey, this is the Pro Organizer Studio podcast with Jen Obermeyer. So we say that because every episode might be somebody's first episode that they've ever heard. So I assume nothing. I never assume that anybody knows who I am. And then at the end of every episode, there's an outro that she recorded that says, if you want to learn more, visit proorganizerstudio.com to learn more about our services, or go directly to POroadmap.com to get the roadmap to building your business. So if you are just listening to our podcast, you don't even have to go to our website, but if you can just remember PO Roadmap, then you type that into your browser, and then that's where people can opt in to the lead magnet there. So that is one reason why people do podcasts, is because it's just another way to reach people who don't watch videos and who don't read blogs. Unfortunately, I'm a big reader. I like to just read content quickly, but I think in this day and age, people sort of like to multitask a little bit. So podcasts have really emerged as a bigger medium for sharing your thoughts. Veronica says she thinks she has my intro and outro memorized. All right, next time we do an update, I'll have you just record it. That's hilarious. Okay, Pavla asked, does your podcast drive a lot of traffic to my course? That's a really good question because I don't exactly have a way to really measure it. I should. If I were a really, really good business owner, I would measure it, and I would have like a separate sales page or something for people who there are ways that you could do that. I don't have that set up, and I wish I did. I have noticed, Pavla, that more people, certainly, we launched it last May, but I would say it wasn't until about 6 months ago that I would notice consistently that when new people joined, that they would say, hey, I've been listening to your podcast episodes, and not that they love me, but they're just like, I love, your style and like listening to you and your guests, or I've been thinking about joining Inspired Organizer forever. I've been listening to the podcast and I finally made the leap. So yes, I will say that I've noticed people mention it, but we don't ask, like we don't force them to tell us like how they found us. And I know that in some cases people can't even remember how they first came across it. So Suzanne says she doesn't even know how she found me. And look where we are now, girl. Suzanne has been to one of my retreats. And she is just very, very dear to me. Pavla says she's multitasking right now. And Dana said she's one of my podcast conversions. So not only does that make me feel good, but I hope that you guys kind of see like it's a little bit behind the scenes of how all of this works, and you can make it work for you. I swear to you, if I can do this, anybody else can do this on pretty much any topic. There are people I know that are selling courses about organizing their homes. Like it's not even like this doesn't, nobody has said this in this chat, but I don't know if somebody's wondering if they're like, oh, well, is this easier if you're selling a business program? No, it probably isn't, because I am in such a super small niche that my entire universe of potential leads is so tiny. So imagine if I was doing what I do in like a bigger niche, it probably would be easier. And then the other thing is there's a lot more people in the world who just want to get organized. For example, you create a course about organizing, or do virtual organizing coaching, and there would be a lot more people who are potentially interested in that. And I'm talking about in the millions. Like when you're looking at Facebook audiences of people who meet certain criteria, which we can talk about that on another day, about analytics and Facebook and how you figure out where your people are. If you're selling a course about organizing, or about home systems, or about how to adjust from work to working from home, because Lord knows how many people are going through that right now, your potential world is just massive. So go do that. Okay, I'm going to hang out for just a minute and see if you guys push through any last minute questions. I will follow up in the comments or in the description for this video, just to sort of like recap, hey, here are the resources I mentioned in this video blog episode. I don't know what this is. I guess this is a video show. Yeah. And then I also, again, I'll make sure that I confirm with you guys how you can get live video notifications so that that's working. But until then, watch on my page. I've been deciding day by day what time works and what topic works for this Online Business 101. Totally free. Please share it with somebody. That would be amazing. Somebody else might need this or want this, and I'm here for that too. So yeah, I will say I'm having a busy week. I wonder how you guys are doing. I feel like for me, this feels like an additional outlet just to like feel like I'm being helpful and useful. But I've spent a lot of time on communications with my current students and helping them adapt to everything that's going on this week. I'm curious like how your regular jobs are going. I think a lot of you have regular jobs and other businesses. Obviously, this particular audience is more than just organizers. So I do care about that stuff. I really want to like know where you guys are at in life right now, and just know that I'm thinking about you, and whatever I can do to like help make the path look clear moving forward, I would be more than happy to do what I can. Okay? Sure. Rob said this. He's been busier than a one-legged man at a butt kicking contest. That's how I feel too. I mean, every day I'm like exhausted because feel like I've squeezed myself out like a sponge trying to just get things done. But I feel very invigorated every day because I have new ideas. Maybe tomorrow we'll just do the podcast. We'll do the podcast topic tomorrow because I think that was a really good segue and it won't be hours and hours long. So Dana, I'm thankful for you guys too. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Talk to you later. Have a good night.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Organizers Studio podcast. If you'd like to learn more about time-saving services and resources for professional organizers, visit www.proorganizerstudio.com. And if you'd like to get Jen's roadmap to success for launching and growing your professional organizing business, go straight to www.poroadmap.com.